I was doing some reading on autism and eye contact, and I came across an article that quoted different people with autism and why they avoided eye contact. And an overwhelming number of responses said that it was eye contact means that there's too much for them to take in, that when they look at something, their senses get overwhelmed. I actually want to read a quote because I think it described it pretty well. It says, "It's a constant stream of extra sensory or processing information on top of what I'm already trying to sort through my head. It can disrupt any thought or speaking processes I have going on, and it zaps my energy very quickly." So when I saw that, it just takes more effort for people with autism to look at someone in the eye and their brain gets overwhelmed. I started to read more about sensory perception, and there's a lot about the sensory perception disorder, but also that autism is not that, it's just closely related. And it explained to me that when we look at something like the book says, and first, we notice a contrast of light and it goes into our eyes, and then our nervous system takes over into our brain. And through that process, we kind of decipher, we create an image of what we've just seen. And it's, then in our brain, and we can go back to the memory chapter, and part of it will be stored in memory, or the other one will be just like seeing exactly what you're seeing in the moment. And people with autism have he said, either the article said, for autism, on autism.com, the article said that their sensory perception is either underwhelmed or overwhelmed. So when they see something, they cannot process as much. So it'll take them more time, because it'll not just be like a quick flash like we see, where all these processes of taking in a light through our eyes and to our brain, it just happens, instantaneously. It's a slower process. Or they're overwhelmed, where we look at something, where I explained, I think chapter 11, we focus on some things. We don't take in everything entirely. We will just focus more on what we're looking at and not worry about every single other detail that our eyes are looking, unless we focus on that. So when you're overwhelmed, they're trying to focus on everything, every little detail of when they're looking. Another quote was about when they look something, they take a picture, and then they have this picture, this mental image in their mind. And this person with autism said that it's a lot of work to take a picture when you look at someone's eyes. There's so much to see about the person, and you're already looking at what's around them. They become overwhelmed. So there you have the connection with their sensory perception and their processing of either they're just takes them too long to even process what they're seeing, or their brain is just trying to process too much, that it becomes easier not to make eye contact and just focus on hearing and speaking. Like the quote I said, if they speak, the person said that in her case, if she's trying to look at them in the eyes, then it becomes difficult to focus on everything else she's trying to focus on. So it makes more sense that they would avoid eye contact, because it saves them energy and it allows them to focus on what they deem as more important, which is understanding verbally what someone's saying, and then being able to create a response. And lastly, with eye contact and autism, the book talks about culture and how culture can influence. And then I started reading more about autism and eye contact. And part of it, not as much as the scientific part, said that people with autism don't understand social cues. They don't know to look at someone in the eye when they're talking. So there is that part that, why would they even bother to look someone in the eye? Like I mentioned before, it's a lot more difficult because it's more information, or it's hard to process, and they don't understand that it's polite, or that it's better for conversation to look at someone. So in their mind, there's zero importance to that at all, because culture, like in their own culture that they live in, that their brain understands, in their social understanding, there's no reason to expend that energy on looking at someone in the eye.